Om Samavatu Sanamo Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karvavai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः. Samasta Jan Kalyane Niratam Karnanam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidharam. Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamurina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashaadhyayini Amratvamanusandadhami Bhagavad-gīte Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sthuvaihi Vedai Sangapadakramo Panishadai Vayantriyam Samagaha Dhyānavasthitatadgatena manasa Pashyantiyam yoginah Yasyantam navidusura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. So the 15th chapter of the Gita is called Purushottama Yoga. Sit. You need to increase, reduce, do it now. Are you comfortable, all of you? So 15th chapter of the Gita is called Purushottama Yoga. One of the shortest chapters, only 20 verses. And the essence of the Gita again is available in the 15th chapter. Second chapter also it is there. It's a long chapter, 72 verses. But this 15th chapter is the shortest one. And the entire essence of the Gita is the 15th chapter. Also one of the popular chapters because we chant this chapter just before food. That's the tradition in our culture. Every day, lunch, dinner, before food, the 15th chapter is chanted. And then the Brahmarpana is done, and then one eats the food. We will see why it is done as we go along. So this 15th chapter begins with a very unique and a strange analogy of an inverted tree. The roots above and the branches below. 14th chapter ended without any questions from Arjun. Arjun had asked a question of how the person lives who is gone beyond the three gunas. And Bhagavan gave the reply. And the chapter ended with that. 15th chapter has that way no question of Arjun for which Bhagavan is answering. So he starts on his own with this analogy. And through this analogy of the inverted tree, the Lord actually describes the samsara, the life in this world, and how the desire to go beyond the samsara and how to go beyond the samsara is what he explains in this 15th chapter. So what is literally samsara? Where there is a sense of incompleteness which always remains, that feeling of wanting always, that is a samsara actually. It's not the people outside, it's not the world outside, it's not the objects. That has nothing to do with the bondage that we feel or the emptiness that we feel. So in life when we observe, the wants get fulfilled but the wanting never gets fulfilled, and that sense of wanting always to become something else, to get something else, to go somewhere else, where happiness is not experienced in that sense of permanent happiness. Temporary pleasure, one feels nice about it, enjoys it, and likes it also, there is nothing wrong. But that sense of emptiness still remains. As an escape, one goes to do so many other things. But if one really observes, and that sense of wanting, and that sense of wanting comes from a sense of limitation. That I am this individual, this finite entity. As long as the sense of limitation remains, the sense of wanting will continue to be there. In deep sleep, that sense of individuality and limitation is not there, so the wanting is not there. Only difference is that we are not aware of it. We are unconscious in that state. So wants get fulfilled but wanting does not. So samsara is actually constant desiring, acting, achieving, depending, dying, being reborn, and this cycle. That's the janma mrityu bandhan, which people call as samsara. But what is real samsara? Is that sense of limitation and wanting. That is the crux of samsara. And the etymological meaning of that samsara is that which constantly slips, samyak sarati, that which I cannot grasp, I cannot hold. So in the world, constant change that is happening, that also is called samsara. So two meanings of samsara basically. One is the sense of attachment to my identity, the sense of limitation, which creates wanting. Second is, by itself the things outside are temporary and changing, so I am not able to hold on to it and feel fulfillment. That constant change outside and wanting inside, that combination is actually called samsara. This samsara is what one should be intensely aware of. That this is not what I want fulfillment. Because if I wanted this, I have got it enough number of times. The wanting should have ended. But wanting has not ended. Only object has changed. Wanting keeps on becoming deeper actually. Hence a person who observes this very carefully is a person who has done the vivek, that what is temporary, what is permanent, and has that vairagya that I want to get out of the sense of limitation and experience consciously the state of fulfillment, which is possible to experience. And hence here in this 15th chapter, so LNP means life management practice. In one of the places I was doing 15th chapter for which I had made this PowerPoint. There the topic was life management practices. I had told 15th chapter. They printed life management practices, circulated it to everybody. Then you reach there and find out, oh, this is the topic you have to speak on. Then you create something. So what is the life management practice here? To constantly think and be clear that permanent happiness is the goal of life. Everything else is only a means to it. Whether it is name, fame, power, position, achievement, education, whatever it is only a means to achieve. If my goal becomes very clear to me that permanent happiness is my goal, it is not some goal out there in the future. Permanent means what is there even now. So to be constantly in that state of silence, stillness, beyond the ego, is to be beyond the limitation, is actually to go beyond samsara. Hence, this 15th chapter tells us, on one hand, what is the state of apurnata, which is samsara, and what is the state of purnata, which is the purusha, which is our true nature. So the chapter is called Purushottam Yoga because of that. Purusha means that which is complete. Purnatvat Purusha. Complete meaning, experiencing that state, there is nothing more to get. No wanting, no desiring, no becoming, nothing. Fulfillment. And that is my nature, which I don't know right now. I am out, attached to the world, I am out, attached to the body, I am out in the world. Then dependent on people. So that process by which I come back to my own self, that is what this 15th chapter will tell us. So beautiful two meanings of the word Purusha. One is Purnatva, that which is complete. And where is that which is complete? Is it somewhere out there? Purau Shete, one who dwells in one's own heart. So Purau literally means a city. Shete means one who lives. So the body of ours is considered to be a city with 9 gates. Through all the senses, we transact with the world. The experiencer, the individual who transacts, the true nature of that individual is infinite, which is what this chapter tells us. Identifying with this body, with these gates of the city, I feel I am this. But actually this is just an equipment. The indweller is something else. And the nature of that indweller is infinite. Today I think the nature of that indweller is finite. I am Mr. So-and-so, operating from this body. Vedanta says, no, you are not this. That is false identification. So the whole chapter here is to explain one aspect, that you are not this, you are that. Second aspect this chapter will speak about is that Purusha is what is manifesting as all this. And third aspect is how is it that which is the Supreme. So the Jiva, Jagat and Ishwar, all three come in this particular chapter. That's why it is the essence. So it is Purushottam Yoga, tells us how to attain the permanent happiness. The essence of the Geeta and the Vedas is this sense of understanding of oneness. That I am one with the world, with the Supreme. And that's what the 15th chapter will tell us. Being one of the shortest chapters, in our culture it is this 12th and 15th, generally we memorize very quickly. And first we memorize these two chapters, 12th and 15th. Every day to chant 15th chapter actually is to remind oneself of the essence of the Vedas, to remind oneself of the goal, and to remind oneself of the means also. All the three. It's a nice practice. One can start if one is not doing. Especially those who are full-time seekers, we always chant 15th chapter before food. Typically in the ashrams, definitely during the camps and all that it happens. And when you study in Sandipani, 2 years course, every time. So if we can learn and memorize, very good. So let's go into this chapter. This chapter begins with this tree of life, this inverted tree. And this tree, very difficult to cut. How to cut this tree of samsara also this chapter will tell us. So let's chant the first verse. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. अथ पंचदशोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् This is urdhvamulam adhashakam. The branches are below adhashakam. Roots are above. A lot of artists they depict it also like that. They draw it also. At one point Arjun must have thought such a tree actually exists, maybe Ulta tree. Actually it's a metaphor, it's just a symbolic analogy. Ashwatham Pravuravayam. It is called Ashwatha tree. It is a people tree. Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. The leaves of this tree are the Vedas. Chandas here means the Veda. Veda literally means knowledge, not the books. Vid means to know. Veda means knowledge. and holistic knowledge. Chandamsi yasya parnam. Yastam Veda Savedavit. Whoever knows this knowledge is wise, has known what is to be known. That is one very nice thing, that do we know what is supposed to be known? We know so many other things. Physics, chemistry, biology, this, that, politics, this, that, so many things we know. But what is it to be known? Knowing which I attain that fulfillment. I discover that goal of life. I discover that supreme happiness, my own true self. Not knowing that, everything else I know, how does it matter? Anyway, about the other things outside. So Vedavit literally means the knower, who has known what is to be known. Not just simply somebody who is a knower of the Vedas. Knower of the Veda means who has understood the essence and has realized that essence. Then is the Vedavit. So Yastam Veda Savedavit. Now why is this analogy given? Urdhva Moolam and Adharsha. Maybe Arjun was sleeping, at the end of the 14th chapter, the Gunatita Lakshan is so subtle that beyond three gunas he went and so to wake him up, Bhagavan said, there is a tree which has the roots above and branches below. Then you get up. What is he saying? In art of oratory, that is one technique. Shock technique. Just say something very, like Gurudev wrote, in the second chapter of the Geeta when he speaks on immortality of the soul. So, he used to roar very loudly and he will say that everybody dies, but no one dies, and he will whisper that. And he has conveyed everything in that. Every body dies. That one truth does not die. That's the art of oratory. So why is Bhagavan doing that here? Urdhva Moolam Adharsha. This is a very nice analogy borrowed from the Upanishads. Kathopanishad gives this analogy actually. Urdhva Moolam Avakshaka, that's the mantra. So actually Bhagavan Vedavyasa has shoplifted that mantra straight from there, put it here. Copy that. Anyway, Upanishads, the essence of Upanishad is the Geeta. So there is nothing wrong actually in conveying that concept here, and it's a very, very nice concept. So this Ashwatha tree, first we come to Ashwatha tree. Ashwatha tree means what? Shvaha, Ashvaha iva tishtati. There are different meanings of this. Ashwa means the horses. So the horses are tied to this tree. Earlier days, that was the tradition there. Very strong these trees are. Meaning this tree is very strong and dynamic. That is the nature of this samsara. Extremely difficult to get out of this. We get bound to it. Second meaning of Ashwatha is na shvaha tishtati. That which will not remain next moment. Constantly that which is changing, that is called Ashwatha. Shva means tomorrow. So, to observe this fact very closely, that everything is changing. Till we don't observe that fact, there is the illusion of time, an illusion of steadiness is what keeps us bound actually. Because we see everything so steady, growing at such a normal pace, and lot of change that is happening is weird. Like every minute there are so many cells dying in this body. We don't know it. Every moment there are so many thoughts going on in the mind, emotions, subconscious level, so many changes are happening. We are not aware. A seeker is one who becomes aware of constant changes and who also is ready to accept that the world's nature is changed. So if I have to live here in this world, I must know how to accept change. That's the life management principle. To be harmonious here so that my energies are turned towards the changeless I must know how to accept change. If I resist change, either I will get agitation or in some time I will get outdated, because things will not remain same. They will change. I don't know if you have seen, but if you see that video of the CEO of Nokia, when Nokia company closed down, he gave an interview. He literally was in tears. He said, we did not do anything wrong, but we did not do things fast enough. So we got wiped out. Can you imagine Nokia company got, Microsoft took over, finished, that company got. At one point in time, BlackBerry was so much on top. So many changes like that. I am just giving in cell phone technology field. And the pace of change goes on happening. It keeps increasing in many times, in many things. When one is not able to keep pace with that change, one will just get extinct, gone, out. One becomes irrelevant sometimes. So, if I have to live in this world seeking the changeless, that is one aspect of a seeker's life, to seek the permanent happiness or changeless self. But also one must have that ability to adapt to the changes, accept the changes. That if one doesn't have, one is gone. And is it not that that is what happens? I am not even talking about just the world outside. Even internally, even in one's own relationships, people change. How much the children change, the youth change, adults change, everybody changes. And one is not seeing the person as the person is now, one is seeing the image of the person, which one is holding in the mind. The person must already have changed. So on one hand, it is to be constantly aware of the change. Second is to be able to accept that yes, people change. And then adapt according to that. Seeker has to do all the three. Hinduism has survived actually because of this capacity to adapt to changes. Wherever this adapting quality is not there, it will cause pain. And it's a matter of time that it will get eliminated. Because nature's law is continuous change. So many cultures which did not change got wiped out. In the long span of history and civilization, if you see, then it may look 200, 300, 400 years, 500 years, but if they can't adapt to change, it will all get wiped out. So one has to know that very clearly. So samsara is the constant change, and that is represented by this tree, where these roots are above and the branches are below. Meaning, roots are the source. Literally, the nourishment comes to the tree from the source. So one meaning is the roots are the source. What is the source of this whole world? This world is the tree, the branches. The source of this world is the Lord. The changeless absolute truth is the source. Roots meaning the infinite cause of this universe. And branches means this whole creation. So why is the roots above and branches below? It's a metaphor to say that cause is always subtler than the effect. So cause gives rise to effects. And when the effects get destroyed, they again go back into the cause. So cause remains. Effects change. Effects are born, effects change, effects die. So the waves, they arise, they stay, they go back. But what is the cause? The water. That remains. Gold ornaments you can make. Earring, bangle, anklet, different things. Effects. Cause is the gold. They will rise in gold, stay in gold, go back to gold. So cause is always subtler, and when we get obsessed with the effect and forget the cause, that's the first mistake. The main cause of sorrow is ignorance of the root cause, the Lord. When we forget Bhagavan, then everything is, we get attached to samsara. So this 15th chapter is to make me aware that let me focus on the roots, the cause, the supreme cause, and shift the attention from the tree to the roots. And that's why that analogy is given. Because if there was a normal tree, will anybody bother about roots? Who bothers? What do we bother about in a tree? First of all, root is not even visible, it's below the ground. Even if it is painted, one doesn't bother about roots. What one bothers about? How nicely the tree has been drawn, how colorful are the flowers, how nicely the leaves are and colorful flowers and the fruits and all that. But actually it is the roots. So by putting it inverted, the idea is that focus on the roots. If I focus on the cause, and is it not that that is the thing that happens in the world? If I want to eliminate cancer, what do I have to do? Do I have to focus on effects or focus on the cause? I have to identify the cause, try to find the cure, solution, eliminate it, then effect is taken care. Everywhere it is like that. The moment I shift my focus from effect to the cause, I do greater work. Even service, if you have to do, to teach somebody to clean the roads and to make somebody do that. So someone can keep doing cleaning the road. So if one sees some dirt and dust, to clean the roads. So cleanliness is a good value. So social service, go and clean the roads. Or find out who are the people, why are they making it dirty, identify their problem, get a solution. Over, then it is solved forever. So that way the root cause is what if one focuses on, there will be greater growth also. So one reason why Bhagavan puts the tree up, the roots up, is to tell us that shift the attention from the changing world to the changeless, from this perishing world to the Supreme God. Second thing, the roots nourish the tree. So the Lord is the one who nourishes the whole creation and its support. So have faith and be grateful that whatever we do comes from the Lord actually. In the Shanti mantra in the beginning that we chant, what do we say? Sahanau bhunaktu, may the Lord nourish us. Whatever I have in this life is a blessing of the Lord. He takes care. One must have that faith. And that faith is a great source of strength. Third aspect is the cause is the divine cause. Just as the cause itself manifests as the effect, this whole world manifests as the Supreme Lord only. How is Bhagavan separate from the world? He is not. Like every wave is the manifestation of the ocean. Each and everything here is divine. If you remember in the 9th chapter we had done this. A religion which believes that the Lord is transcendental as well as immanent is the only religion which will live harmoniously. If you say Bhagavan is only up there, not here, then there is no problem. Kill, loot, plunder, do anything. Why? Because this is all not divine. Divine is up there. And if you say Bhagavan is not up there, Bhagavan is only all this, then the Bhagavan becomes perishable. It is not proper technically. So when he says here that the roots are above, branches are below, so the branches are also actually a manifestation of the roots only. All these things which we see here is divine. That's our culture. That's the global family culture. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means that. And so, when world is a manifestation of the divine, each and everything here is divine, then the way with which I relate to them is to see divinity there, not just to see the people. But there is a Supreme Lord manifesting in and through all this. So the sadhak's mind remains on that. Can I, in and through all my work, relationships, maintain the thought that all this is divine? That's the purpose of all the spiritual sadhanas. So life management principle here is to see the divine everywhere. Another reason why the tree is inverted also is even in our body, if you see, there is an inverted tree. So beautiful is that science. From here all the nerves they spread down. So if you make the diagram of all the nerves, it will literally be like that. From here, from the brain, all the nerves they flow down into the whole body. So there is an inverted tree right here inside my body. In my family also there is an inverted tree. Start making the tree, family tree. Actually you should do that exercise, is very good. From whichever generation you can find out and put down, at least you will know the name. That who is a great grandfather, who is his grandfather, who is his father. Family tree. And will it not branch out? One person, then he had 2 sons, and they got married, each of them had two more. So it will be like an inverted tree, root above and branches below. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is that one interesting exercise to do. To make the family tree, so difficult. Which Raja, how many princes, who got married, they had how many children, It goes on. One of our brahmacharis has done that. He made that family tree. So, nice, amazing it is how he made that whole family tree. Roots above and the branches below. Also gives the history actually. So many kings, etc. Their names. Some of them are in Ramayana, especially Ramayana and Mahabharata. There are historical people also in that. You will find them. So family tree also is, and Gurudev gives another interpretation, is that those who are doing subtler work, they are always held in a higher position. So higher command, higher up, top men, high class, whatever. So the more thinking oriented work, they have, CEO and board of director and all that. Those are above. Then the manager and teams and then the executing people and all of them down. So this inverted tree that way is not a very unusual analogy. It is there everywhere. Just that one has not noticed it. In context of samsara it is roots are above, meaning we have forgotten the Lord, and branches are below. Now he starts explaining these branches, etc. So roots are sacred, but the tree spreads away from the source and downwards. In the same way, we have also moved away from the roots and got lost in the branches. So the life management here is that we have a choice to focus on the samsara or live in samsara here, focusing on the roots. Which is what Arjuna actually did when he chose Sri Krishna and not the army of Sri Krishna. That's the symbol of a choice that a seeker has to make. Every moment we have a choice to choose Maya or to choose Brahman. And we are human beings. So what we do? We choose Brahman and vote for Maya. Both. What is your goal of life? But how do I live right now? Very attached to Maya. Choose Brahman and happily vote for Maya. Both we have, not that. Because Brahman anyway I will get sometime or the other. That is my true nature. Why should I leave this Maya? So the choice that a seeker has constantly. So a person who sees very, very clearly. How does that person see that my goal of life and my feeling must be for that permanent happiness? Not that my intellectual thought is, okay, I want permanent happiness, but my feeling is for more and more temporary pleasure. So that knowledge and that feeling, etc., comes when I have the attitude of a seeker. So it goes on to say that Vedas are the leaves, Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. So leaves nourish the tree. So just like the roots nourish the tree from below, they suck the water from the ground, they hold the tree firmly in the ground. The leaves also nourish from the top. When the water evaporates, it creates an osmotic pressure, and then the roots are able to suck the water from the ground, and the tree again is nurtured and nourished. So both nourish. The Lord also nourishes, the leaves also nourish. Leaves here means the knowledge. So knowledge of what? Knowledge of both these. How to live in the changing world and how to have the focus on the changeless. Then that's the holistic knowledge. And that knowledge is what will nourish me. Otherwise, don't we see that so many times we question that why am I going through all this? Some disappointment, some relationship, some heartbreak, some success. It doesn't make any sense. Why? For what? Just imagine, if there is no understanding of that which is changeless, will I not question why so much change is happening? Why am I even going through all this? And in each one's heart there are these questions. Some point or the other somebody will have that question that who is this God? Why did He create this world? If I catch Him, I want to blast Him first and foremost. But what an imperfect world He created, and we are suffering, and it is His Leela. These questions will be there. If there is no concept of changeless at all, life is there is no purpose. That why this whole thing is happening, for what? And please understand that it is not that just because there is no purpose, some imaginary concept as God created, there is something called changeless. A lot of people think like that. Because there is no purpose or concept of God as God created, it's an imagination of human mind. It's not like that. If there is a cause, there has to be. If there is an effect, there has to be a cause. How did this whole infinite world manifest? From what cause? You call it nature, you call it prakriti, call it whatever. The intelligent cause of the universe, which is infinite and sentient, that is called God. You call it whichever name, consciousness, truth, reality, substratum, anything man calls. If that is not there, this whole life is a waste. Because it's all changing. Whether I believe in rebirth, don't believe in rebirth, karma, no karma, makes no difference. If there is no understanding of infinite reality, that there is one supreme. First step is that there is a supreme reality. Then comes a relationship with that, whether it is different from me, or I am a part of it, or I am one with it, all that will come later. But there is one infinite reality, which is the cause of this universe. And I must know that very well. And I need to here to live in this world amidst all these changes. So once I know that there is a changeless reality, the purpose of life is to come to experience that. In whichever way one gets that conviction, that is the journey of the seeker. Buddha went and saw, Siddhartha went and saw. He said, if this is what life is going to be, that disease, old age and death is the final reality, why am I living in the palace? Why am I enjoying? What am I doing? For what? To just come from nowhere and go nowhere and then in between do all the tamasha and then just perish. Why should I go through all the emotional turmoil? Why should I work hard? Why should I achieve success? For what? Anyway, it's so temporary. Just to make my life comfortable right now, okay. Now my life has become comfortable. Now what after that? Hence, in this chapter, when Bhagavan says, Yastam Veda Sa Vedabit, whoever knows this is the real knower. Because if I don't know what is the changeless, just playing with the change, I will be frustrated. Because beyond a point, it will not make any sense. And as it is, there is so much of inequality in the world, so much of injustice in the world, so much of breakdown of values in the world. Why will I want to even live a life of dharma? For what? Hence he says here that this knowledge is very, very important. This knowledge is that which will nurture one's life, give the direction, make the person feel grounded. Understand that there is a reason behind all this. and I am here to get out of my sense of limitation. And there are enough examples of people who have done that. It is not that one is doing that first time. So many people have done that, and so many examples of their lives are there, how they went from change to the changeless and how they experienced it, and what a difference it made in their whole outlook of life and how they lived after that. Hence, yastam veda sa veda vid. So, chandamsi yasya parnani. So, one meaning of chanda is the leaves are the knowledge, the Vedas. Another meaning also is the leaves, they symbolize the desires, which are the cause of our thoughts and actions. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Because these branches will give rise to leaves, fruits, the leaves, then the buds, and then the flower and the fruit, etc. They will come ahead. Why are leaves also called as the desires? Because how is this tree of life sustained? What sustains the human being? Is the desires. If there is no desire, either I am asleep or I am dead. Or the third category is realized person, gone beyond all desires, fulfilled. Just like the leaves nourish the tree, in that same way, what nourishes us is our desire. Selfish desire, selfless desire, whichever desire. But that is what nurtures. If that is not there, no purpose in life, nothing. And in that, if the desires are dharmic, then that person has a certain sense of strength and conviction. Whenever a person follows dharma, the first benefit that person gets is inner strength. No weakening influence. Because I have not broken any rules, I have not followed any adharma. And also it is that dharma by itself is making my personality integrated. Dharyate iti dharma. That which integrates is called dharma. When I don't do anything negative, hurtful, harmful, my personality is not split. Simple example, if I tell a lie, what happens? Now there is a split in my personality. One part of it knows this is wrong. One part of it has compromised. Wrong. One split. That split is what destroys the person. If I have not spoken a lie, I am so fearless, so strong. There is nothing to worry about. No split, no guilt, no fear of being exposed, no memory problem. Because people who speak lies need to have superb memory. They have to constantly remember to whom they have told what and maintain that. How? So I don't need all that. Otherwise it's like computer or a phone, memory chip will go on upgrading. Keep remembering now what I told whom. Dharma gives that strength. So what really nourishes? So just as the leaves beautify the tree, dharma is that which beautifies our life. 7th chapter, if you remember, Bhagavan said in that, Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. I am that desire, O Arjun, which is not devoid of dharma. So Vedanta says to become desireless, last stage. It doesn't say drop all desire, that's not the first stage. First stage is you go through desires. See the difference, and as you go through the desires, you will see the difference between dharmic and adharmic desires and how it creates agitation, stress, worry. So then from there you come to dharmic desire and stick to that which is not dharmic, don't indulge. Then see the limitation of the dharmic desire also, that even if it is dharmic desire, a desire is after all a desire. It is going to get fulfilled. What we saw earlier, wants get fulfilled, wanting does not. It does not leave me completely satisfied. It gives temporary pleasure. Then that person is ready to go beyond desire. So these are stages. So who knows this very clearly is called as a Vedavid. What does he need to know? One is that the Lord is the roots, the effect is the world. Second, that person must have that as the goal of life, that has that permanent happiness become my very goal of life. That knowledge is very important. Third, to experience that state of permanent happiness, I must move in my evolution in the desires, from the state of inaction, tamas, to a state of desire, from the desire to dharmic, adharmic desire, to dharmic desire, to desirelessness. That way, if I grow, this tree of life gets nurtured and nourished. Now he gives little more details about this tree. Adhaschodhvam prasritastasya shakhaha guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha adhascha moolanyanusantatani कर्मानुबंधीनि मनुष्यलोके This is adhascha urdhvam, down and up. Prasritas tasya shakha, its branches are spread. Guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha, nourished by the three gunas. Vishaya pravalaha, the sense objects are the buds. Adhascha moolani anusantatani, and below, also it has the tree, it has the roots which bind this tree. Meaning, like that people tree, one is the roots which nourish from underground, other is also the hang. That is the secondary roots. Sorry, these are not the hanging roots, these are the secondary roots. So a tree has primary roots and then the secondary roots, both. So adhascha moolani anusantatani, karmanubandhini manushya loke, and these roots they bind the person. Which are these roots? These are the karma. And where do they bind? They bind the person to this manushya loke. Let us see what this means. So the gross and the subtler worlds are the trunk and the bigger and the smaller branches. Adhascha urdhvam, up and down. So in our culture one believes that there are 7 worlds above and 7 worlds below. These are realms of consciousness. These are not geographical locations. These 14 worlds, these are 14 fields of experiences. These are the branches. In this samsara, where all one can go? If you thought you have not visited Ethiopia, Utopia, whatever places in this world, that's only one world. There are 13 worlds like this, up and down. You can visit happily. Go up, go down. Can I go to multiple worlds? Yes. Multiple visa also not required. Your karma is your visa. Up, down, anywhere you can go in these 14 worlds. And ultimately where will you come back? Manushya Loka. Karma will bring you back to Manushya Loka, because evolution is possible only in that Manushya Loka, nowhere else. Everywhere else only the karma phala one can enjoy and exhaust. Evolution happens only in Manushya Loka. So what are these branches of this tree? Branches are the 14 worlds. These 14 worlds and this trunk of this whole tree and all its branches are nurtured by what? Like the plant is nurtured by this water, sunlight and manure. The 3 gunas nurture the tree of life. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Which chapter of the Gita talks about it? 14th chapter talks about it. These 3 gunas, they nurture this tree. And so now there is a choice. Don't say Swamiji, this example, no. Just like the tree requires sunlight, water, manure equally, so So I am also going to focus. Tamas also is very important criteria. Rajas also, Sattva also. Equal quantity I will have all the three. That's a limitation of the example. Three gunas are necessary. So these three gunas are that will nurture this tree. Then, what is the life management principle here? What we saw last time. Cultivate maximum Sattva guna. Get out of Rajas and Tamas and cultivate more and more of Sattva, because only then focus will be on the changeless. Rajas keeps the focus on action, attachment, agitation. Tamas keeps the focus on indulgence, lethargy, ignorance. Sattva is that which will focus on the Lord, the true self. So one must ensure that one must, to grow, to evolve, increase the Sattva guna. And we had done last time 10 factors to increase Sattva guna. Were you able to apply it in any one? We are talking about geeta in practice. So everybody today wants to practice. Swamiji, theory ठीक है. Practical बताओ, practical. What to practice? So I gave you 10 areas in which to change those 10 areas into sattvic way. One should do that. It's very effective actually. All the 10. And it's possible to do all the 10. They're not very difficult to do. And you will see the impact of that also. So, these three gunas, they nurture the tree. Now what are the sense buds? Vishaya pravalaha. So, adascha urdhvam prasvita tasya shakaha guna pravriddha vishaya pravala. The sense buds, they are, if you see a bud, it's so nice actually. It's very tender, small, soft. And such a big flower is there inside that bud. One doesn't even realize. No? This rose especially, if you see the initial bud, it will be so small like that round. And then it grows, the bud grows and then slowly it opens. And then such a big rose comes out of that. So these buds, they give rise to more flowers, and then that flower sometimes turns into a fruit. So what are these buds? Each of these fruits, they have many more seeds. So these sense objects are the buds. Very tempting. And when one nurtures them with the three gunas, with one's own desires, then they will give rise to flowers, which are karma, actions. And then again they give rise to fruits, which are results of action, which also have further seeds, which will again create more buds. So this cycle goes on. What are these karmas? Karmanubandhini. Karmas are the branches that go deep into the earth and become the roots that bind the tree strongly. So as we said here, so here again the limitation of the analogy we should understand. Don't think that root to above ho gaye. Just like a tree has a primary roots and then the secondary roots. Here the secondary roots are these karmas. The job of the secondary roots is to hold the tree strongly. The job of primary roots is to provide that nourishment. So here the nourishment comes, in this analogy, the nourishment is coming from Bhagavan only. But what is that which is binding me to samsara? Is my own karma. So karmanubandhini, manushya loke. And it is this karma that causes continuous cycle of birth and death. One advantage of human birth, manushya loka is said here. Advantage of human birth is only Manushya is able to do karma. Karma means conscious action. Simple term, simple words. Karma means conscious action. Conscious action meaning that which is done with the sense of self-awareness. A dog also does, bird also does, plants also do. But they do instinctive karma, not intelligent karma. Their karma is not conscious karma, not out of their sense of individuality. They don't do. They do by the programming which is there inside them. They just do. But human being can evolve. So this is the tree finally. So human being can bind himself because of actions or liberate himself. This we have seen earlier. The samsara cycle is this. The tendencies, the vasanas, they cause the desire, which cause the thoughts, which cause the action, which cause the result, which further gives the impression, this tendency. This is the cycle of samsara. Constantly this goes on. In this tree of samsara, that way the vasana is not depicted. That's again the limitation of the analogy here. The roots are the Lord. The seed actually, otherwise is supposed to be the vasana, which manifests the whole tree. But here Bhagavan has not taken that analogy, that's a limitation. So now once we understand this cycle of samsara, how to get out of that, how to fell a tree. If you fell a tree and if you cut only the branches, will it work? Again the tree continues to grow. So if I want to fell a tree, what do I have to do? Cut the roots. Uproot the whole tree. Na rupamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvatthaменam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. So he says narupamasya iha tatha upalabhyate. Bhagavan is clarifying that look Arjun, this samsara tree does not exist like this. Because he would have thought 100% that there is some tree somewhere like that. I did this talk in Bahrain last year. And in Bahrain there is actually a tree of life. Not inverted. Normal tree which is growing in desert. Has any of you gone to Bahrain anytime? If you go, you can visit that tree. They call it as the tree of life because in the desert it has survived, and for them it is a miracle that how did this tree survive for so many thousands of years when there is no proper source of water there. Even today it survives there, and it is nice green tree. And the scientists and all have gone also and found out that the ground doesn't have that deep water table and all that. From where this tree is getting nourishment, still they don't know. So they have named it as the tree of life. And somewhere in the middle of the desert somewhere, you have to drive so far and then you go there. Amidst all these oil wells and all that, is one big tree surviving there. Somehow it is there. So this tree of life, Bhagavan says, there is no such tree physically. Na rupamasya iha tatha upalabhyate. Why? Na anto na chade. There is no beginning and there is no end. This is a beginningless and endless thing. This whole world, samsara. And even individually, when did bondage begin? Can't say. But yes, with my actions I can end my bondage. But right now it appears endless. When will the desires end? So this samsara tree is beginningless and endless. But if you have to get over it, then what to do? Ashvatthaменam suvirudham moolam. It is so strongly established. It is not visible, but it is very strongly there. How to get out of it? Asanga shastrena, with the acts of detachment. Dridhena chitva. You have to hit firmly, not lightly. If you have to fell the whole tree, much more strength is required. To cut the branches, that much strength is not required. Nowadays, so what? There is no thing. They bring machine-oriented saw and over, whole tree cut, finished. Actually, otherwise one has to cut it like a woodcutter would cut it. Tremendous strength. So he says this requires a lot of this strength to break this tree, and one has to hit very hard. One has to ensure that one hits with a lot of determination to get out of samsara. One requires that. It can't be a hanky-panky effort. In 5 days I feel Param Vairagya and I live in absolute sense control and I get up in the morning at 5 and do meditation and then selfless service and this, that, and after 5 days you say, no, ye nahi ho sakta. Again after 1 year again start something. It won't work like that. Dridhena chitva. That detachment has to be a constant process. I have to live in the detachment, strengthen that detachment. What is the detachment? He explains. That we will take up tomorrow. He gives 5 points. So the 5th verse of this 15th chapter, very simple and a nice verse. And again, practical verse. So when I do 16th chapter, I will ask you, did you apply these 5 points? These are practical points. 5 points can be easily applied. We will see that tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.